Okay, now friends, we begin now. The next minor is Mugya. Which the Rabbi said the third night of Slichus of that year, Tavshin Chav. So we say in Slichus Lachom Al Libi, to you my heart says, Bakshu Panai. So he's going to give two explanations in a moment. Bakshu Panai, in general, seek my face. It's the Yidden, a Yid talking to the Eibishter. So the Fidig ever brings in his Maimer. Which begins with this Pasuk. It's a Maimer for Erev Rosh Hashanah Tavshin Aleph, 1941. Also from Gimel Slichus. So it's Erev Rosh Hashanah Tavshin Aleph, so it was Tavshin. It's exactly 1940, 20 years earlier. And the previous Maimer also was based on a Maimer of the Rebbe, Fidig Rebbe 20 years earlier, of Tavshin. So there he brings Pirush Rashi al Pasuk. He brings Rashi's Pirush the Fidig Rebbe on this Pasuk. The Belacha, in the words Lacha, to you, my heart says. So what's Lacha? Shnei Pirushim. Number one, Yishvilcha b'shlichuscha, on your behalf, or more precisely, for you and on your behalf. One pirush. Second pirush, ubimkeimcha, and in your stead. To be explained, but so far we get the sense. For you, or in your stead, representing you. And he continues there in the Maimer. In Bakshu Panai, there's also two explanations. Number one, Bakshu Bakosho Tchina, it's a request, a supplication. One meaning. Second, Bakshu Bakosho V'chipus. It means to examine. So we have two meanings in the words Lacha and two meanings in the words Bakshu. Lacha means for you or in your stead, and Bakshu means a request. My face requests, my pnimius requests, or to examine, chipus. And explains then the Maimer, Shnei inyanim meila, these two inyanim. The last on Bakshu, v'tchina, bakoshu tchina, bakoshu v'chipos, these two inyanim of request or supplication and examination, two meanings in the word Bakshu, and betfil are in davening. Again, just to state the obvious, so Bakshu Panai means my face requests, or Bakshu Panai, examine my face. So both these inyanim and betfila are in davening. The tefillah ibakoshu tchina. Tefillah davening first and foremost is request. Tchina means supplicate, in other words. Bakoshi, and that's number one. Now the second taich. What are you asking? So obviously the pshat level you're asking to fulfill needs. The b'pnimius abakoshi shatzlich b'avedosai. What is he asking? He's asking the Eibishter to grant him success in his avodah. The chapis v'limtzoi darchei hatikun b'chol inyan. To inquire and to find the ways to fix that which is required fixing in all these inyanim. That's the request. So listen now is the meaning. Is that clear? To you, my heart says, my heart is speaking. Because the two inyonim of baksha that we just pointed out, which is request and to search, they are in davening. And what is tefillah? Tefillah aved shebelev. Tefillah is the service of the heart, and therefore my heart speaks. So far we're clear. Moishe Maimon. The Maamer continues. This is going to explain the lecha, the two meanings of the word lecha. The avodah b'shebelev, I think, shnei inyonim. In the service of the heart, there's two inyonim. B'soichalev, with the heart. V'im, what did I say with? In the heart. B'soichalev, in the heart. V'im alev, and with the heart. So, simply, that the heart is the objective, or the heart is used in an objective. He's going to explain. First of all, what does it mean? So, the Rebbe suggests, explaining the Frierdiker Rebbe's word, that the two meanings of that the two levels of heart, namely, the heart is the object, or with the heart he serves. These two inyonim dimensions of the avodah of the heart correspond to the two pirushim we just said in the word baksha, namely, the bakosha tchina shebetfilah. So the request dimension of tefillah comes at the avodah b'seichalev. That comes as a result of the avodah in the heart. In order that his request be sincere and true, he has to arouse and uncover the depth of his heart. Avodah b'lev atzma. That's the avodah in the heart, or of the heart. A sincere request. That's number one. Not lip service. And the second thing is vachipush sebetfilah. And what is his request? First, what's going to come from a sincere place. That's the first thing. Then, what is his request? His request is Eibush to help me to fix how to fix all this inyonim. Now, I've got to take my heart and bring that to bear on all my inyonim. The avodah is not the avodah of the heart, the exposure of the depth of the heart, but he wants to bring that b'chol inyonov and all of the components of his being, and deeper. But he addresses all of those levels with the heart. So we're clear? In summary, let's summarize. Put the pieces of the puzzle together. Let's do it together. So what did he say in conclusion now? So what did he say? He didn't explain the lecha yet. The two explanations in lecha, right? That will come. We'll just note them. What are the two explanations of the word lecha? Two pirushim, opening lines of the Maamer.
For you or in your stead.
Right. For you or in your stead. On your behalf or in your stead. That's two pirushim in the lecha, which obviously will be connected to the two pirushim in bakshu and in the two levels of the heart. They're all going to match up. Now also in Bakshu Panai, two pirushim. Number one, Pashup Shad. Bakshu Panai, first pirush. Yes, so put the word, but right, they gave me the word Panai, Bakshu Panai, my face requests, supplicates. First touch. Second pirush, Bakshu Panai. English. Examine my heart. It's a request to examine my heart.
In the explanation where it says, let's say like he's saying to examine his heart, seems like he's asking for the request is to help him examine.
That's it.
Okay, something else.
Well, it's going to be tied in, but it kind of when it's in the context of the pasuk, it's examine my heart.
But he's saying L'chamar Libi, no?
Uh-huh.
He's saying this my heart says, Bakshu Panai, or is it L'chamar Libi Bakshu Panai?
No, L'chama Libi.
Yeah, so he's saying Bakshu Panai, no? Libi is the heart saying Bakshu.
In the first touch, it's the same. It's still the person. My heart says, Bakshu Panai. The first touch, grant my request.
Right. I'm saying when the second touch of
My heart says, examine my pneumias.
Okay.
We're kind of going ahead of ourselves a little bit because we're just building our case slowly, but yeah. So how would the whole, it's all founded on the davening has these two dimensions. Davening is the avodah of the heart. So there's the request and there's the examination. And how are the two things? How are the two things one or complementary? Because what is his request? This is an avodah, that he examine himself critically and fix all that has to be done in the right way. And that's also connected to that the avodah of the heart, there's two inyanim. There's the heart itself, and then there's with the heart. Now, what does that mean? The Rabbi suggests it means these two things we just said now, in the two meanings of the word Bakshu Panai. First of all, to request sincerely, to lay bare the heart. That's the bakosha. So the bakosha dimension is what? B'seich halev.
Same request of the request sincerely that I should be able to fulfill my avodah.
To sincerely want to be.
To do your will.
Yeah, to want to fix all that needs to be fixed, to request that sincerely. There are many levels to that request, starting from not wanting to, be punished or denied reward. That's not the true bakosha. It's got to come, as he says, b'seich halev, the depth of the heart. It's already leading to the l'cha. Anyway, from a deep, sincere place. Yes, what?
It's two inyanim of leib, b'seich halev, is it being connected with the two inyanim of bakasha? Like I'm not seeing the puzzle, or is it just done? Is it two?
Yes, he includes himself. He says. Let's just say it now. So the two inyanim of the heart is number one, to be sincere, and number two, to now you bring the heart to bear in all of his avodah. Right? So that is the two taishin in Bakshu. The first taish is Bakshu Panai. It's like, Abish to help me that I should be sincere in my request of you. And the second Bakshu,
which is what part of the leib?
That's the heart itself. That when I talk to you, I talk from the heart. First, I talk from the heart, from the depth of the heart. And what is the request? Then, what's the avodah? Then the second takshin bakshu, that now, and I bring my heart to bear in all of my. I put my heart in all of my avodah. put my heart into, I speak from the heart, and I invest the heart.
The examining part is feeling.
That's the examining part of tefillah, yeah. So from the heart and with the heart. Bakshu, I should talk from the heart. Bakshu, I should examine and fix from the heart. Avodah should be from the heart. Are we clear, folks? Yeah? Okay. So the outline will get clearer and clearer as the mind progresses. Well, I made a mistake. This is a pasuk, not in Slichas. It's a pasuk in the David Hashem Moishe. Don't think it's in Slichas. Levi is to understand this is marked in Maamer. So the Frierdiker Rebbe prefaces Masha Kosa, that which the pasuk says in Iyov Mipsari, from within my flesh, Echzelika, behold godliness. Asks the Frierdiker Rebbe, the main part of a person is his soul. Why does he say the pasuk, from my flesh I behold? Why? And he answers the Bariya in seeing. That's the requesting. That's the not the statement. The statement is, from my flesh I see. So now he's examining what seeing means. The Bariya, and there's two ways to see. Sichlis, intellectual sight, understand, as in I see. Bariya Mukhshis, and then there's actual seeing. Mukhshis, actual. Dariya Sichlis, Misyaches, Yoser, Ela Nefesh. When we speak of intellectual sight, it's a spiritual thing. Bariya, associated with the soul. Whereas physical seeing is associated more with the body. What's interesting is that he uses the word yoser in both cases. He doesn't just say intellectual sight relates to the soul and physical sight relates to the body. He says that intellectual sight relates more to the soul and physical sight relates more to the body. Now, you can understand the first way. No, you can understand both of them because, what's the more? It's not exclusive. It's saying it's not exclusive. Intellectual sight is not exclusive to the nefesh because, after all, the brain also is engaged in the process of understanding. There's neurons and there's whole activity happening in the brain. You understand? It's yoser. It's more the nefesh. And like what physical sight is more the body, but it's the koyach hariyah that's misyachas, that's this lavish in the eye that's able to see. So there's that aspect also of the nefesh here. Yeah, but obviously what the dominant experience when you see physically is a physical thing. The dominant dimension of what's engaged in understanding is the nefesh hasichlis. It's the slavish and the moyach is involved. It says in Chassidus that when a person thinks deeply, actually it changes the physical brain. It develops kmotim, we learned this. It develops furrows in the brain. A more smooth brain. I think actually physically, animals, human beings to begin with. The brain of animals and less sophisticated creatures is much smoother. The human brain is, why? Because of the intellectual depth. But he's saying is the begashmius that is deepened through incredible notion to consider, is deepened through toil in learning. I was just reminded of this that my friend's grandfather, it turns out that he's now my Alav Shalom, Rabbi Shmeilach Spalter. Nobody know him, but he was too young. He is Yossi Spalter, my son-in-law's grandfather. He stayed at the house a lot when he first came to America, but he passed away soon after. He was the Baal Shacharis in 770 Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, a very beautiful nusach. Anyway, they found after he passed away his notes and so on. Achlotas that he had undertaken. Very, very inspiring. And one of the things that he writes, that he was a big Talmid Chacham. And one of the things he writes there is, so was his father, was a renowned Talmid Chacham. He writes there that he made achlota, he's just not a achlota, a demand of himself to toil in Torah, not to be lazy, with whatever level of learning, relative to his mind, superficial level, but to toil himself to get to the depth. It's toil, friends. Anyway, what I'm saying is that affects the Guf Gashmi. Anyway, so the point you're saying here is that it's two kinds of re'iyah. There's intellectual side and physical side. One is primarily a spiritual thing and the other physical. Continues, B'chol dova yesh guf v'nefesh, everything has a body and a soul. Everything. Shegam b'dvarim gashmiyim yesh ha'nefesh behem. Physical things have a soul that animates them. And physical things have the guf, that's the keli. So now what is he saying? This the Figlim is answering why we say, why the Pasuk says, from my flesh I behold godliness. Because what is he saying? That he beholds godliness, it's seeing godliness physically. What does that mean? There are expressions of Likus, like divine providence, that can be seen with the senses, with the physical eye. So Mamsheh B'Maimer, the Maimer continues the Fidig Rebbe's Maimer. Pirish HaKos explaining this pasuk, he adds the following: that a person's faculties, they all devolve from the upper spheres. As the pasuk says, let us make man in our image and in our form. From a person's faculties, we can understand the spheres above. Now, so far, we're kind of disjointed here a little bit. All the things that Rebbe is quoting, which is going to make that point in a minute, and the point of the Rebbe's Maimer is to explain it all. So first he just kind of sets down the themes of the Maimer, and will, in the course of this Maimer, thread it all and unite it all. So far in Ois Beis, let's summarize Ois Beis. He was makdim to understand all the Seichalev, Imalev, the two levels of Bakosha, to understand it all. So we introduced the Psari Echser Lika, and the Diuk Psari is, what's the Diuk? The Diuk is that even in the Ruchniisdike seeing, it should be the Gashmisdike dimension, the Psari dimension, the Guf dimension. So there are levels of Alikus, like Ashgacha Pratis, that can be seen b'muchesh, even with the physical eye. Notwithstanding that it's a intellectual awareness, but it's an intellectual awareness that can be seen even physically, to be explained further in the mind. And then he also added another thing. How is it that we can see from within ourselves. Elikus, that's because, I'm not talking about the guf now, but the nefesh, mind you, the guf as well, but that's not what he says. The nefesh is mishtalshiv from the svidus above. Related, but not directly related. But there's more. We'll stop here. Continues the next paragraph, the next paragraph, mamshich or mamshich, and then in Leis Gimel, after having laid out the whole Maimer, then Lahovan Abir, to understand it all, then comes in Leis Gimel. All right? So. In the end, thread it all together, explain what the connection between one Inyan and the other, why it brings that Inyan, and how it's adding and expressing in what was said earlier. It's not so clear. No, I mean they're all related. But the nuance and the intrinsic connection is not so obvious, or perhaps not obvious at all. Should we go a bit further or not? It's already 7 o'clock. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. So it's pretty hard hitting. Tomorrow it talks about merirus before davening. Okay, to be seen tomorrow. Huh?
As a mila or a chisar?
As a necessary achonat avodah. In the words of the Maimeh here, somewhere, breaking up the soil, striking it.